Quietly, one drug has become more threatening in Illinois than all other drugs.
And now we're finding out that heroin is starting to overtake it as a more serious issue.
Not just in major cities, but in rural areas as well.
I'm afraid, unfortunately, it's becoming a serious problem here in Christian County.
The Metro East happens to be a traffic lane for heroin to pass from the southern states up through the Midwest onto Chicago.
And in its wake, heroin has left hundreds of families devastated, a reality that some learned the hard way.
We could save as many young girls like our daughter.
It was shocking. I think I just went on autopilot.
It was Christmas Day, and it hit us all so hard. It's a feeling that you'll never get over.
For Jennifer and Cindy Reilly, heroin led to the death of a brother and a son, 29-year-old Jeremy.
He was a wonderful parent.
He wanted to make sure that his girls were independent, smart, went to college.
But until Jeremy's death, they never realized heroin was such a growing problem. Did you ever think heroin would be one of those things that would actually become part of your life now?
No, never. Just the thought of hard drugs like that being in our area and me not even knowing about it.
You wouldn't even think heroin would be around, but apparently it is.
Sadly, Jeremy's story is becoming all too familiar, one that even a state senator has to share. Senator Kyle McCarter lost his daughter to a heroin overdose in 2007.
Once we found out, I found people that knew it was happening in the community, and they didn't even tell me. You can't just experiment once with heroin. You will be addicted, and there's a great chance that you'll die.
According to the Department of Health, between 2008 and 2010, heroin was linked to 345 deaths statewide.
You know, a lot of people say, well, that's just a statistic. Well, it's only a statistic until it's your own child.
It's those tales of heartbreak that have lawmakers and law enforcement working to educate communities that heroin use is becoming a state of emergency.
The goal of this task force is to seek out opportunities for solutions legislatively, governmentally.
Our drug task force is doing a fantastic job, and we will continue to keep doing that. But it's a continuing battle.
One sheriff says that as drugs like meth and prescription pills become harder to get due to regulation, heroin abuse is going up while the age of the user drops.
I worry about our kids. I have a 21-year-old female in here that's addicted to heroin. And she started with marijuana, smoking marijuana when she was from 12 to 14 years old. And then she went to prescription drugs and started using prescription drugs when she was 14 through 16. And then for the last couple of years, she's been addicted to heroin.
State Representative Dwight Kay shares that concern.
High school kids, and in some cases even junior high, have availed themselves of prescription medications. That starts them on the path of needing something that's a little stronger. The younger people have become more exposed to this in the last 10 to 15 years, and they've kind of grown into this heroin epidemic.
With the number of heroin-related deaths going up each year and a rising number of families impacted by this powerful drug, Kay says now is the time to take a stand, the time to make a change.
I think we need to step back and we need to find out just exactly what causes this use, how it gets started. We need to look at the toxicology of this thing. We need to come at this hard, and we need to do it with hard evidence.
State Representative Lou Lang has served at the Capitol nearly 27 years.
Have you ever seen anything like this in this situation?
No, nothing close to this. This is a problem that is severe and getting worse.
That growing problem is heroin in Illinois.
Now it's moved down here, it's everywhere. You're probably more likely to find that than your prescription pain medicine.
The addiction, powerful to say the least.
It comes to a point where you're just doing it to stay normal. You're not even getting high because you don't want to be sick. And what you think is functioning is normal, you're really not.
Not to mention the effects it can have on your relationship with family.
I would steal things, pawn it, you know what I mean? Like just stupid stuff like that. You don't have a concept of what is right and wrong.
He just wasn't being honest.
In Jacksonville, Gail Hilliard says her son, Sam Bunch, faced a daily struggle with his addiction. Was that probably your biggest fear, was that one day this was going to end
He would be left at the side of the road dead by one of these other people.
But before it got to that point, he was caught by police.
And he is in prison now for what he did.
Most previous efforts to deal with this issue have dealt on throwing people in jail.
It's this scenario that has lawmakers like Lang taking a fresh look to see what can be done about the problem.
The way we're going about the war on drugs in this country and in this state isn't working.
We need to do a lot more on educating our kids.
At this level, there needs to be, if you're going to spend money, you need to spend money on treatment.
Coming into treatment allows them an opportunity to get some medical treatment, to have some stabilization, to have some medication that can assist with that as well.
Loves Park State Representative John Cabello has seen the war on drugs up close as a member of the Rockford Police.
It seems as though prescription drugs are the gateway into heroin, not marijuana, not alcohol. It's a game of Russian roulette is what it is.
Associate Judge Brad Paisley runs the drug court in Christian County. He calls it a great chance for those with addiction to get a second chance without becoming part of the prison system.
77% of people who successfully complete a drug court program never reoffend again.
Paisley says that by investing in programs like drug court, the state could potentially save money by decreasing prison populations.
Lawmakers are finding out, I think, that you can get better results, spend less money. It's a win-win for everybody. It depends on the statistics, but I think it's about $25,000 per year to incarcerate someone in the Illinois Department of Corrections. And there's about 45,000 people in prison right now, not parole or jails, but in prisons. So if you do the math, it's about $1 billion a year that it's costing taxpayers.
In addition to drug court, programs such as drug treatment can help shift the course of the heroin war in our state. Dr. Brittany Otino at the Gateway Foundation in Springfield says instead of making cuts to drug treatment programs, continued funding is vital in preventing a return to the drug and returns to jail.
The state is strapped for resources, so putting a treatment program in while somebody's incarcerated would be a significant challenge. But just assuming that them being locked up is going to cure it or kick it, that's not going to happen.
Dr. Otino adds that because of the risk of overdose and the number of overdose deaths in the past 4 years, with funding for treatment programs, lives and money can be saved.
People don't understand how easily it is to get addicted to it. The fact is that people overdose all the time from heroin, and so it's not just we took an extra pill. We don't know what's in the heroin, we don't know how much that they've used, and so there's a significant risk there. Anyone would know that heroin addiction, opiate addiction, drug addiction in general cost communities. There's more violence, there's more emergency room admissions. When you take it step by step and look at the treatment options that could be provided and the impact that could have on families, schools, the community as a whole, there is definitely a big cost benefit there.
And as the debate over funding in the state continues, Lang acknowledges that funding for treatment must be a priority.
Certainly we're going to have to put more funding into this, and I'm hoping that the members of the task force will see it that way as well. It's going to save the state money if we can educate, rehabilitate, and treat addicts, whether they be in jail so that when they come out they're beyond this, or before they go to jail. And our job is to improve their lives by finding a way to get it out of their lives.
And if lawmakers need proof that treatment can turn lives around, Gail Hilliard says her son is a shining example.
He wants no part of anyone that he associated with before. He wants to change his life. He wants a clean life.
And for those struggling with the addiction on a daily basis, recovering addicts offer some words of wisdom as well.
Well, I'm at an age in my life that I'm going to be 38 soon, and I don't really want to wake up and feel like I've wasted my life. I've already given 10 years of my life. It's something I don't ever want to go back to. Let's just put it that way. It was absolutely awful.
And for those who know someone fighting heroin addiction or have lost someone to heroin, the Reillys and Senator McCarter offer up some advice.
Only time really heals grief. I encourage parents to just reach out to others. Don't sit back and there's a time to grieve, but there's a time to go forward and say, listen, we're not going to let one more young man like our son, one more young lady like your daughter, we're not going to let this happen to them, and fight back, because this is a serious situation today.
People are ashamed to talk about it, so no one is aware. That's why we're talking about it today, because we want people to be aware that there's a problem.
Don't wait. Act on it. If you even think, do something about it, because the few minutes that you don't do something or you're worried about them being mad at you, I'd rather my brother be mad at me than him be in the grave. I should have just stopped worrying about people being mad and done something and pushed harder, because if you push, they might be mad, but they'll be alive.
And for parents who have been spurned by a child's addiction, Hilliard says that love and forgiveness can be as powerful when helping someone overcome addiction.
He is back to the Sammy I knew. He has apologized over and over for what happened. I'm proud of him for the work he's put in, and I look forward to him coming home. He wants to go into counseling and help other people that have become addicted.
And a chance to successfully overcome this powerful drug.